Have you ever seen the film Taken? Chances are, even if you haven't, you've heard about it due to a famous Liam Neeson quote in the film. However, did you know that this film actually gives us a look into modern-day slavery, as well as the fact that it is a real issue in today's society? After hearing of human trafficking attempts in my small town, I've always found it interesting and researched it periodically. However, given the chances now to explain the dangers to you, I have researched it more thoroughly. We tend to think of ourselves as invincible. Nothing happens to us until one day it actually does. Human trafficking can happen to anyone, at any time, and any place. Hopefully at the end of my presentation, you as my audience will be able to realize what modern-day slavery is, recognize the signs, and what is being done to prevent it. So let's take a look into what modern-day slavery really is. Modern-day slavery is known as human trafficking. According to Britannica Online, slavery is a condition in which one human being owned another. A slave was considered by law as property and was denied most rights of a basic free human. Traffickers use force, fraud, coercion to control victims for the purpose of engaging in commercial sex acts or labor services against his or her will. The International Labor Organization estimates that there are around 20.9 million people involved in human trafficking around the globe, with hundreds of thousands being from the United States. Human trafficking is a rather lucrative industry. According to the Department of Homeland Security, human trafficking is estimated to bring in billions of dollars and falls only second to drug trafficking as a transnational crime. Trafficking is considered relatively low risk because most of the time the victims will not want to draw attention to themselves for fear of what will happen to them or their families. There are different types of human trafficking. Types include sex trafficking, forced labor, and domestic servitude. Traffickers tend to lure individuals with promises of lucrative jobs, exciting travels, and even loving relationships. However, the victims tend to find out that what their promises end up not coming true. Now that you know a little bit of background information, what signs should you be looking for? Victims can experience changes in physical and or mental health. Victims tend to be very shy, especially in the presence of their traffickers. They don't want to draw attention to themselves. They also can appear that they are lacking, they are malnourished, lacking proper medical care, as well as showing signs of physical or sexual abuse. What are their working and living conditions like? Although many victims are lured into the business with promises of fortunes, they hardly ever see a penny from their work. They commonly have to work very long hours, resulting in very little to no breaks on their end. Their housing units or places of businesses are usually very private and secretive. Massage parlors, for instance, tend to pop up in random places. They can have dark or barred windows and have very little information on it. These are all red flags of a human trafficking organization. What are signs of traffickers? Well, you'd probably be pretty surprised if I told you that not all human traffickers look like your average criminals. While some are no doubt involved in criminal networks or gangs, some could even be your next door neighbor or your boss, which makes it pretty difficult for law enforcement to prosecute. Traffickers tend to be super overbearing, especially in the presence of their victims. And they tend to take complete control over their victim's life. They would take forms of identification, they will take money, and they will also use threats of abuse against them or their family members to get them to comply for any reason. Even though trafficking is hard to catch on to, there are steps being done to help prevent it. The Trafficking Victims Protections Act was formed in 2000. It was the first federal law passed by the United States involved directly in human trafficking. The TVPA has been reauthorized 4 times, the latest being in 2013. The reason being is because human trafficking is ever changing and they're constantly finding loopholes in order to get around the laws. During the Obama administration, the government had released a 5-year plan called the Federal Strategic Action Plan for services victims of human trafficking in the United States 2013 to 2017. This plan helps protect victims and help rebuild their lives. Not only are there these federal laws in places, there are also hotlines and local services. The National Human Trafficking Hotline estimated 115,000 calls between December of 2007 and December 2015. Now, those are just calls that were reported, and there are so many that go unreported as well. There are also services, there are texting hotlines, a Be Free texting hotline. Epcot USA results in specifically designed for helping children who are used in human trafficking resorts, as well as there is a national database on the hotline's website that can show you local services in your area. I hope you have all learned a great deal about what modern-day slavery truly is, the signs of what to look out for, as well as what is being done to prevent it. Modern-day slavery is a powerful issue in the world today, with 20.9 million people around the globe held captive by human trafficking. It hits home closer than ever. And we should be sure to take it seriously as possible, to protect the ones we love. Thank you.